Thanks, Craig. G'day everyone. Thanks for coming along again to the Burger King Road to the Title in association with Gallagher. This is actually a fun event. You know, it's quite a tense time, I suppose, for Duco preparing for what is going to be a major sporting moment in New Zealand history. But I also think now the fun of the event starting to come into it as well. We're in really strong communication with Andy Ruiz and his trainer Abel Sanchez, with Bob Arum. I think Craig himself has managed to spend the last few days up in Las Vegas and the surrounds with a couple of you, just getting better to know Andy and getting to know Abel and just understanding the nature of what's coming our way. And so I think inside the office there's a real hum. There's definitely a sense of, you know, this is our moment in time as an organisation as much as it is for Joseph himself. But when I've just come out of an operational meeting this morning, just looking at how we're tracking, and I have to say there's not too many things that are worrying me at the moment. Just in terms of tickets, I mentioned before, there's in total corporates and public seating tickets in Vector, there's about 10,000 tickets in total. We've now sold around 8,000 of those, so we've got about 2,000 tickets to sell in the last 3 weeks, which from our point of view feels a really, really good position to be in. We know that the air of anticipation in the public as this we go through the last 19 days towards the fight's just going to increase day by day. We've released some new tickets on Friday that are priced at $199 and upwards, and there's quite a few of those there. So you know, we expect that the tickets will just continue to steadily sell through to the event, and that we'll end up on the night with a complete sellout at Vector, which will be a pretty special occasion. Otherwise, I think, you know, basically I'm feeling pretty good about this. I know we're about to unveil something, and I'll come back and talk to you a little bit about that in a moment, but it's just onwards and upwards for us for the next 19 days.
As Martin alluded to, obviously I've been away for a week or so, just putting in the groundwork for you guys regarding Bob Arum and a number of these guys, and I can assure you that they're really excited about coming down. Bob is one hell of a nice guy and is happy to do lots and lots of interviews. Bruce Trappler, who is the Hall of Fame matchmaker, is also going to come down. Delightful guy, and I think you're going to really enjoy speaking to these guys. There's a number of people who aren't coming down as well, obviously, but I did get a chance to speak to a number of them, and over the coming weeks I'll be able to give you some video of some pretty high profile people in the boxing community. But we'll start right now just with a couple, just talking about the WBO and what we can expect in the next couple of weeks.
Craig, are you going to see this?
Yeah, I'll see them.
If you win a heavyweight world title, you've accomplished something. If it was easy, everybody would do it.
I could see a scenario where Joseph Parker fights this fight in New Zealand, wins it, and then, you know, goes somewhere else, fights over here, fights in London, wins it or lose, doesn't matter. Then he's fighting again for another world title in New Zealand. It's just a wonderful opportunity for the entire heavyweight picture and for boxing fans, especially in this country. Even though we have a champion now in Deontay, you know, we need good opponents for him. And Joseph Parker, whether he wins a title or not, he's a great opponent for anybody. So again, the bottom line is it's just really good for boxing in the heavyweight division.
The WBO title gained credibility over the years because of the caliber of guys that held it, the fact that they wanted to hold it, you know, the number of quality fighters through the years. And the WBO overall has become much more widely accepted, both in the United States, in Europe for sure. It's even been recently allowed to be boxed for in Japan, where they didn't allow that title for many years. It's gained acceptance because they've had a lot of good champions through the last 20 years. So as far as I am concerned, the WBO title, you know, and I'm not a huge fan of the sanctioning bodies. Anybody that's read me for any length of time knows that I've had my issues and I've taken my hacks at those organizations many, many times. But being fair, I think the WBO title in all weight classes at this stage of boxing is equally as important as any of the other sanctioning body titles out there.
Shall we do this together?
Hold on, mate.
it is. It's gold plated, and it has, I'll have to read it to you, it is encrusted with special Swarovski crystal. I hope I said that correctly. And I'm going to be asked 1,000,000 times how much it's worth. The reality is it's priceless to Joseph Parker, and it's worth millions and millions and millions of dollars to the winner on December 10. So what we have decided to do as a company is to give everyone an opportunity to get their photo with the belt. We really do believe, and we've decided a long time ago as part of the team, that Joseph was the people's champion, so we want the people to have an opportunity to experience the belt over the next couple of days. And what we're going to do is we're going to send it around the country in association with Burger King, and we're going to put it into restaurants, and you don't have to pay, you can just come and get your photo taken with the world title belt. We want as many people as possible to get that opportunity to have a unique opportunity touching a legitimate world title belt. And as you can see as well, it's specially engraved for the event. It is the belt that will be presented to the winner on December 10. Martin, as you're here, just bring you back in. This is something very similar that happened in the Rugby World Cup and the Cricket World Cup. Can you give us an idea of how this compares and where you see it?
Yeah, I think if you remember back to the build-up towards Rugby World Cup, a couple of months before the tournament, we took the trophy itself on a tour right through New Zealand. I remember starting at 6 a.m. in Bluff one morning in the middle of winter, and ending up right up in the far north, and it gave people an opportunity to connect with the trophy, connect with the tournament, and really get themselves ready to have some fun when the event took place. Then something similar was done with the Cricket World Cup last year, where it went on a trip around as well, and it's just a method of growing awareness and helping people engage with the event, bringing it to life, not just people in Auckland where the event's happening, but people spread around New Zealand. So we're getting to 12 different venues with the belt. You won't see Joseph Parker going anywhere near this belt, in the same way that Richie McCaw would refuse to touch the Rugby World Cup trophy until the All Blacks had actually won that trophy. You won't see Joseph Parker touching this belt beforehand, and I think the same will be for Andy Ruiz. Just think also back to some of those iconic sporting photographs that are easy to picture. Think in 1987 of the photograph of David Kirk holding up the Rugby World Cup trophy after the All Blacks had won the inaugural tournament. And again, Richie doing the same thing when the All Blacks had succeeded. It would have been nice to have a photograph of Brendan McCullum holding up the Cricket World Cup trophy. Last year it wasn't to be, so there's a photo there of Michael Clark holding that up. That's probably not a huge part of New Zealand sporting history. But just imagine, think forward if Joseph manages to rise to the occasion, to beat Andy Ruiz, to be presented with this belt at the conclusion of that fight, and to be the genuine holder of the belt and to be able to hold it up. The photograph of that moment in time will be something that will go down in New Zealand sporting history and be there forever for us. So it's pretty exciting to give people an opportunity to see what's at stake, and as I say, to connect with the event and get ready for what could be a really special moment on the evening of Saturday, 10 December at Vector Arena.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you out a press release, which is going to give you the venues. I'd really appreciate, because I know all New Zealand wants to get involved, if you guys are able to publicise where the belt is. It's going to be 12 different venues, and it's going to be there for about an hour each time. And we are happy for anyone to get their photo with it. Don't know if we're going to allow too many people to pick it up, but touch it, whatever, because this is part of New Zealand sporting history. And I remember as a junior, if I could be a little bit self-indulgent for a second there, Football World Cup came here a couple of years ago, and it was in a glass case, and you're not allowed to touch it. And I remember, say they bring the Melbourne Cup to TVNZ when I was there, and you weren't allowed to touch it. Look, you can touch it. We want the fans to be part of the experience. Right? If you have any questions for Martin though, before we do photos, is there any questions in particular about the event thus far?
Martin, are you any closer to nailing down what the price on Sky will be for the flight?
Pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably sometime next week we'll come out with that.
Do you think the tickets that haven't sold are too pricey?
I think we have realised ourselves, there's 7 different ticket sale points for the public tickets. The bottom 4 sold really quickly. There has been a little bit of resistance in the middle, and I think we've realised that, and so we've repriced those and taken them back closer to what the lower 4 tiers were. You know, it's not often I think an event organiser wants to stand up and say we didn't quite get it right. Well, the truth is, I think with the pricing in that particular area of the tickets, we didn't quite get it right, so we've adjusted that.
So, what, 400 to 500 instead of 800, is it, or what can you?
No, there's a whole lot of $199 tickets now that are available. The top end ones are still ticking over pretty well, so they're not the ones we're concentrating on. We're really concentrating on the ones in that middle area.
TV deals, have they been secured overseas, or is that still a work in progress?
It's work in progress, but it's going well. We're probably going to be in a position within 7 days to announce that we've done deals that'll cover Australia, the UK, Ireland, the Americas, Africa. There's just a whole variety that we're piecing together in the final stages of getting sign off on at the moment. It's pretty good.
When does Andy arrive? You know?
It's Friday or Saturday. At the moment, what I'm doing
This Friday or
so,
Saturday?
Yeah, so just to give you an idea of what we're looking at. So tomorrow there will be a press conference regarding Samoan tourism. I'll give you some details about that. It's been widely publicised already what we're up to there. Wednesday there's going to be a press conference in Brisbane which I'll be attending and looking after regarding Jeff Horn. Now Jeff Horn is now ranked number 2 in the WBO, he's ranked number 2 in the IBF. 2 weeks ago Manny Pacquiao took on Jesse Vargas at the MGM Grand for the WBO world title and won it. I spoke to Jesse Vargas 2 days ago. I'm going to play a video of Jesse Vargas for the Australian media. But I spoke to him 2 days ago, just the state of the welterweight division, and Bob Arum talking about the importance of this fight because ultimately we want our welterweight also fighting for the world title. Thursday we are looking at another press conference, which I probably will discuss with Martin first before I release it. And then I have told Andy Ruiz that he can expect a big welcome when he comes through the airport. And I believe it is Friday or Saturday, but I will get back to you regarding that. But he's an interesting guy. He is training the house down in Big Bear, 6,000 feet up. There is nothing to do in Big Bear at all other than to train. And Abel Sanchez is just, we were blown away by the amount of effort that they put in. Whereas Joseph Parker trains just with Izu and Joseph, what happens is that his whole team of boxers, up to 8 boxers, are all doing the same thing at the same time. That includes Triple G. Now Triple G is looking after Andy as well, particularly with his mental state. I didn't speak to them last week, but there has been a suggestion that Triple G may even come to New Zealand. I haven't got that 100% down yet, but Triple G is 100% in the corner of Andy Ruiz and just helping him out. And it was really evident to me that how seriously these guys are taking it because they're coming to win. And Duncan and Pat were there and they can absolutely assess, back up what I said.
Did Joseph and Andy stay at the same hotel?
No. So no, we never do that. No. Anything else? Okay. So I'm going to give you a press release now.